There we go. Well, good
Yes.
evening and welcome to the debut. It's our very first Eternal Baseball podcast. You don't know us yet, or the people watching probably do, actually. I'm Mark Weber, and this is my partner, Brent Rotundi, and we're the brains behind Eternal Baseball, which just kicked off this Tuesday after months and months of work behind the scenes from both of us. And we could not be more excited to have Eternal Baseball be part of the day-to-day right now and start getting feedback and people getting excited about, something that we've just had in our brains really for the last several months, right?
I'm excited to be here. This is great.
I mean, this was always kind of part of the plan that we would roll out the league. We would make it public. We would, have a podcast where we ran the game of the week, but it still kind of came together. It came together quickly, I think, even though we've been working on this, since last April, I think, right?
Feels real now. We've got the podcast going. We're live.
I mean, I think once we started getting actual games and box scores and feedback, and it became a lot more tangible, and it was a really rewarding week. So for a little bit about us, again, I'm Mark, Hughes, Brent, and we are almost as close as you can get to lifelong friends. We go back to age 4 in Bend, Oregon. And, even though one of us is in Salt Lake and one of us is just south of Providence, Rhode Island, we're still Bend kids at heart. So we've always stayed in contact, always stayed friends, but never, I don't think, ever worked together, right? Not even like at the McDonald's or anything. Like, we were never co-workers.
You had that junior high wrestling dice game. You let me help out a little bit with that, but beyond that, no, this is our first endeavor. And
I mean, that's
fun.
That's like I guess that's the original kernel for a self-created game that actually rolled for a couple of years till kids didn't want to play pro wrestling at lunch. Like, it's hard to grab the girls in high school as blade and scythe, but so anyway, Brent's a programmer and a web developer, and I'm a marketer and a former sports radio producer and update guy, turned brand manager. Did some work at McFarlane on their sports picks lines, Hasbro, G.I. Joe, and Transformers, and have kind of rattled around the last couple of years. And so this was something that really filled some time during the job gap for me, and something that was just really dove into about in December when we both were spending a lot of time on it. And it was an idea that I've always had. I always thought there should be a video game series or something where you pulled from the legacy of a league or of teams, and you could do it anywhere you wanted. It could be college football with all the great Michigan players of all time against all the great Ohio State players, or you can really skin it any way you want. But baseball's always been my favorite sport to watch. And we traded baseball cards as kids. Brent played baseball a lot longer than I did. But it's always been kind of the sporting love, I think, for both of us. And I think it's hard to imagine. Like, I assume a phenomenal athlete from any generation could always play at the highest professional level, but it's harder to imagine running backs from the 40s, right? Cutting and gaining yards and dragging piles in today's NFL. But I gotta believe Walter Johnson could start for any of the big, 30 major league teams, or Babe Ruth could absolutely hit anybody's fastball in today's game. So baseball just seems to cross that generation. There isn't as big a generational gap, I don't think. Like, I could see those guys from, not all of them, obviously, but if you also look way into the past, there were a lot less big league teams back then, right? It was harder to make a roster in 1920 than it was now. So I love the idea of having every team's best foot forward, all their greats, all their legends on one squad, competing in a very realistic baseball sim.
I can't really add much to that. I'm just excited to see how it pans out over the next couple of weeks, months, through the course of the season.
Yeah, I love it.
It spans generations. I mean, that's just something that I just connected with my father with so much. I mean, so baseball has a really dear place in my heart. So many days, he worked some long hours sometimes, but he would come home and man, he'd put the time in, go outside, throwing batting practice to me with we'd use a tennis ball. And when I started getting a little bit bigger, in order to ensure that I didn't hit quite as far, he would actually drill tennis balls.
Okay.
And so they, it sort of kind of looked like a wiffle ball in some respects, but
see, you came up in the dead ball era, literally, right?
But yeah, so many fond memories. Just even playing catch, kind of gets back to the field of dreams stuff. But yeah, it has a dear place in my heart.
Baseball is sort of a father-son thing in a way that other sports aren't quite the same, right? Not too many guys take their kid out back and they'll be like, all right, try to get by me and I'll try to tackle you, right? I guess basketball is similar in its own way. But so we were looking at this, and we got to give a big shout out to the actual simulation that we use. We're using and we tried a couple, but the one we like best is the one we stuck with, and it's called Action with an exclamation point, PC Baseball from DK Sports. And you can find them at dksports.com. And we loved it because it was the most realistic. There is so much in this sim beyond what most sims have, hot streaks, cold streaks, guys getting called up, guys getting sent down. But there's so much I've seen happen in games, and not too often, because if it happens all the time, if there's a no-hitter every 3 days, it doesn't feel realistic. But I've seen comebackers ricochet off pitchers and go to the shortstop. I've seen guys argue with the umpire and bump the umpire and get suspended. We're looking at you, Tom Glavine, who got kicked out pitching in relief on opening day, and is due back tomorrow, I think, for the Braves. I've seen there are guys who overslide a base when stealing, and it doesn't happen all the time, but it feels like real baseball because that's all stuff that you see in a real baseball game, just, not too often. So it's a great sim. And one of the things that we haven't got to talk about online really yet, and what I like about it a lot, because we have the rosters we have are kind of static. They're not going to change a whole lot because they are the best players of all time. Once in a while, a guy who got traded, I think Aroldis Chapman's a good example. Sooner or later, he's going to be more Yankee than Red. And we'll reflect that in our game when in real baseball, he's been gone from Cincinnati long enough to kind of wear the pinstripes full time. So that kind of stuff will happen, but that's a couple, a dozen guys, and it'll go slowly because they have to age out of their old uniform, in real ball. Like if Bryce Harper quit tomorrow or got hit by a bus, which we aren't rooting for, obviously, but you'd remember him as a National, not a Philly. But once his career plays out, assuming he stays in Philadelphia, he'll be more Philly than National, and we'll make that change appropriate here in Eternal Baseball. So, it will change as time goes. But anyway, the thing that I really liked, and one of the reasons we really settled on this program, is that every player, every new season, is given a modifier to his basic numbers. And it can be 30% up to 30% up from his regular statistical baseline, or even 30% down from his regular statistical baseline. And it's random, and every player gets it, and there's no way to view that number through the program at all. It's just the kind of thing that you would notice over time that Joey Votto is just not hitting. Is just not having a Joey Votto year. So maybe, you need to get more Pete Rose at first base for Cincinnati. And hopefully fans watching those box scores that we published every day at eternalbaseball.com over in the team threads on our message boards will notice that and call it out. Hey, I think Votto needs to sit, maybe against lefties or righties, or a pitcher who just doesn't quite have it. Maybe it isn't closing that year and the setup guy can step up. There's always somebody good on the bench, right? Because these are the greatest players of all time. But that randomness from year to year, I like, coupled with injuries. And we've seen a couple. Jose Fernandez got hurt today, and Pascual Perez a couple days ago, means it won't always be chalk. the same teams won't win every year. And I think that's important. And it feels like real baseball.
Love it. Yeah. Love how competitive it's going to be.
That's one of the things we're looking at. And there's no secret here. And something we found when we were simming seasons to iron the bugs out and get things ready is the teams that have been around forever are at a distinct advantage because they have, more than 100 years of rosters to pull from. So, your really traditional teams, your Braves, your Yankees, your Dodgers, your Giants, your Phillies, your Athletics, even though they've bounced a couple cities, they can pull from anybody who ever played for that franchise. So there's an advantage to being an established team and a disadvantage to being newer because you just don't have the same depth to pull from. The two teams that are back, essentially the league is all 30 major league franchises. And then we brought back the Montreal Expos as kind of a make good because there's lots of people who don't believe the Expos should have lost their franchise. And then we created the Birmingham Knights, which I'm super excited about. And that's the 32nd team to balance our 8 4-team divisions. And the roster is made from the greatest players in Negro League history. And as we found out, they're really good. They're off to a 5-0 start in our new American League South. So I think that's a cool story to tell. And we got some help putting together a pretty cool logo too.
Oh, great logo. We'll put the link, the Gonzo site, after we get done with this.
Yeah, my good friend Jason Gonzalez worked on this for us, who does phenomenal logo design and just overall design. And he put together this Knights logo, which is reminiscent of a very angry chess piece. And I just think it's great. And I love that we made something unique and new, rather than take one of the Negro League franchises and elevate it to be like, this one was the best. And we didn't want to use the Monarchs logo or name from Kansas City because they're actually in the American League South with the Kansas City Royals. And that would have been, frustrating to watch. Hard enough to keep Mets and Yankees straight and Angels, Dodgers. So I wanted to keep clear of that double Kansas City. So that's how they kind of ended up where they were or where they are. And again, they're off to a really good start. So we launched the league on Tuesday. This last Tuesday was opening day. We put out the kind of starting 9 for all the teams the week before and introduced a division a day on Facebook. And we got a lot of feedback from fans, not just how does it work and how can we participate, but, some very passionate feedback about, why this guy instead of that guy. And what we ended up explaining, several times, which is fine because it's brand new. The way Eternal Baseball works is we took the best 3 consecutive seasons for every player in this league and averaged them. So I like that it's a little bit of a range that, Henderson isn't going to steal 130 every year because that's what the stats say. Or Maris isn't going to hit 61 homers every year. It's an average of their 3 best seasons. So it kind of isolates the peak of a player's career, at least statistically. And then, so that gets balanced. And then we looked at the WAR for every player, what they accumulated for a club. We had started each roster with the Hall of Famers getting pulled back, not out of Cooperstown, but from Cooperstown into their respective teams. And that gave us a start. And then we looked at WAR, looked at the OPS and ERA for these guys, their defensive ratings, how they fit, positional diversity is helpful. Their lefty-righty splits. We put a lot of work into it and built, 32 25-man rosters and then 15-man inactive rosters for all 32 teams. So, over 1,200 players. And the drum we kind of beat over and over on Facebook this week was we're never going to know a team better than its diehard fans. And so we got lots of feedback and found things that we had missed or that had been entered wrong statistically. There was a little bit of that too. We got the most feedback I think we got was from a couple teams. We got a ton from Mariner fans. And we actually tweaked the Mariner roster more than any of the other teams adding Marco Gonzalez to their pitching staff, flipping Alvin Davis and Tino Martinez at first base. We added Phil Bradley and sent down Mitch Haniger to the inactive roster. So we made some significant moves. And Dan Wilson for Kenji Jojo at catcher. And it was all stuff fans requested that the stats bore out. We added Joey Cora to the inactive roster too. So the Seattle fans were really receptive and gave us really good feedback. We got a little bit of flack from a couple places. The Oakland A's fans were not wild about Bert Campaneris not making either roster as, the most famous shortstop in A's history. But statistically, his, what we call his peak OPS puts him behind four other guys, Jimmy Dykes, Eddie Joost, Miguel Tejada, and Marcus Semien. And so it's a tricky kind of fence we're walking on, where we're not saying this is the all-time A's team, because how could Campaneris not be the shortstop on the all-time A's team? But the idea is if every player that belonged or was allocated to the A's through history was available at the same time at their statistical peak, and you had to play one season or win one series, who are you going to start at shortstop based on the numbers? And sometimes the numbers in the heart don't line up. The Royals fans felt the same way about Frank White. How do you not have Frank White, who started for 20 years and won 7 Gold Gloves, at second base in Kansas City, especially when his replacement is Mike Moustakas, who never played second for Kansas City. But that's kind of how the game rolls. And we tried our very best to make every team as competitive as possible. And if that means Mike Moustakas over Frank White, that's just kind of how it rolls. And after fighting that fight for a whole week, to have Moustakas go 4 for 5 and hit a 3-run bomb off Cy Young on opening day, it felt like a little pat on the head for the baseball gods. So we also got feedback from Montreal fans, by and large, thrilled that their franchise was coming back. And sometimes there's a player we've just absolutely missed. I'd never heard of Woody Fryman before, who was a brilliant reliever for Montreal, but as later in his career, like in his late 30s. So fans really helped us tweak and still are helping us tweak the lineup. So if we missed somebody, if there's somebody you think is underrated or maybe statistically inaccurate, let us know. That's why we have message boards.
Please do.
And we're always willing to explain why and to research and make sure that we're not wrong. Because like we said, we'll never know a team better than its diehard fans. So we put together message boards. We made them team specific. So if Phillies fans don't want to talk to Mets fans, they don't have to. You've all got your own boards there, and that's where the box scores get posted every day. So
I started an anonymous account in the Seattle forum trying to bang the drum for Mike Kingery, but you haven't bitten on that yet.
I haven't bit yet. I'm waiting for the Arizona fans to come for us, because I think that's the most polarizing choice of all the players was, where does Randy Johnson pitch? And man, it's the thinnest of hairs, but we ended up giving him to the Mariners, and he's off to a great start, wouldn't you know? So that one, will be controversial, I think, for a while. I'm trying to think what else. That was really it, fan wise. We also had a lot of Red Sox fans who, by and large, were just thrilled to see all the best Red Sox lined up together. But that's eternal baseball. We play games every day. There's a set schedule. I mean, there are off days. Friday was a travel day, even for digital ball players. But it's a 162 game season. It'll end up in late August, I think, and then we'll have playoffs. And we have 8 4-team divisions. And to get in, you have to win your division. No wild cards. So we'll have 4 teams in from the National League, 4 teams in from the American League. And then they'll face off in the playoffs all the way to our World Series to determine the first eternal champion. And then it's rinse and repeat. We will do it again. And as we see it, there doesn't have to be an end to something called eternal baseball. And we're all excited about real life, modern day 2021 pitchers and catchers reporting. We all have current favorite teams that we're all excited to see. But eternal baseball will be rolling every day, wrapped up before the playoffs really get going in real baseball. And then when the real World Series ends and you're like, months and months till baseball. Not necessarily, right? We have baseball for you, and we hope you'll come along for the ride.
Well put. Yeah, we'd love to have you all join us on this journey.
So we have tonight our game of the week, or I guess what we're looking at here. My one complaint, the one thing I can't seem to get right, is there's always a division missing in the standings here. And it's more often than not, it's the National League West, which should be down here where I'm shaking the cursor. But just looking at the league and some things that were impressive in this first week, the Royals swept the Red Sox 3-0, which I was not expecting. And Boston is normally very good. So I think they'll turn it around. They already have, winning their next two. The Yankees and the Knights from Birmingham both started 5-0, which are impressive. Birmingham swept Toronto, and then they've just pulled out back-to-back 6-5 wins at Baltimore. St. Louis has had terrible luck. They won on opening day behind Bob Gibson, because who doesn't win behind Bob Gibson? But then they've had 4 straight one-run losses. So it's a tough start for St. Louis, but we expect them to bounce back as well. So that's where we're at really for Eternal Baseball, and what we really want the chunk of our podcast to be every. I think we're going to be on Saturday nights probably, but every time we do a podcast, we're going to do a game of the week. And it's a good matchup from tomorrow's action. So this is actually a Monday game that we're going to fire up here. And we're doing the Giants at the Pirates. And the schedule just works a little tricky in that it defaults to 2019, which we're not playing, obviously. So I'll move up here into February 21, and we'll get the game. Now, the game it's not PlayStation 5. So you're not going to see fantastic diving catches maybe in the way you expect, but it is compelling, and there is a computer voice to it that will butcher a couple of the names, I'm sure. So be ready for that. Play along with it. It's obviously no offense intended if the computer can't say Albert Pujols. So as we line it up, we're going to play San Francisco at Pittsburgh. So, and the way we've decided to do it, to show no favoritism in case we're really good or really bad at running a team, Brent and I are going to run the home team every time we've got a game of the week. So it's the computer controlling the Giants, Brent and I controlling Pittsburgh, and play ball. Oh, wait, that's our lineups. I'm sorry. So we have set lineups already, depending on the handedness of the pitcher. It's Juan Marichal tonight for the Giants. So we'll go with our right-handed lineup. And next up in the order was Babe Adams.
So it might be frozen, Mark. Looking at the screen. It's still showing that initial screen.
Okay.
Do you maybe? Why don't we? Let's see here. Let's remove the screen and just re-add it and see if it comes back.
So, all right, hang on. And share screen. All right, here we go.
He'll be opposed by Babe.
All right, there we go.
Better?
Better.
Made one start on the year and is 1-0 with an earned run average of 4.00. His first start against San Francisco. It's 53 degrees, wind speed 6 miles per hour, Right.
I'm guessing this directed to you, Mark.
Pitching for
Right?
Pittsburgh.
The comment.
Yeah, exactly. This is
Lisa
this is
comment.
my
San Francisco.
yeah my other
Center fielder,
podcast,
Willie
GI Joe
Mays.
podcast is on board. Good to see what's on Joe Mind representing. All right, so my favorite part.
Play ball.
There you go.
All right.
So looking around here, we've got Andrew McCutcheon in left, Roberto Clemente in center, Paul Wainer, who I think was nicknamed Big Poison. Not bad if you can get away with that. Pie Trainer at third, Honus Wagner at short, Bill Mazeroski at second, Ralph Kiner at first, and Jason Kendall doing the catching. I know these numbers are really small, but the numbers you see next to the players are their defensive rating. And then if there's an A, that means arm. How strong is their arm? So that'll give you an idea of where you're at. And basically what we're doing all the time is just figuring out if most of the time we're just going to be going pitch, right? Monkey with my lamp here.
So yeah, we'll make some bad base running decisions, but beyond that,
yeah,
straightforward.
You're known to be kind of aggressive on the bases, so but we'll get it going. And this, the great thing about this sim and a lot of sims, they only show the last pitch of the at bat. So we're going to be through this game in about 40 minutes. So, and maybe faster depending on how well somebody pitches. So Willie Mays leading off for the Giants. And you'll get to when I first
can of corn.
Bill Terry, I think his OPS average or his batting average is like 380 over a 3-year span. Like he was an absolute wizard.
Tough start, huh?
Yeah, and it's not hitting well to start. But there's one off the wall.
Right fielder Willie McCovey.
When a guy gets on base, they'll put a percentage by his name. And that's his percentage to steal the next base successfully. So at 19%, I don't think Bill Terry's going anywhere, but we've got Willie McCovey up. And once in a while,
left fielder.
Oh, here we go.
Bonds.
So here's the Sun Devil, everyone's favorite.
Yeah, slow start.
Slow start for Barry Lamar. So, we'll pitch to him and live to tell the tale. Looks like it.
Pitching for San Francisco.
All right.
Merkel.
So here's Juan Merkel.
22. Andrew.
Which is, I guess, all the respect he's going to get from the computer voice. So, but McCutcheon leads off. Looks like he's hitting pretty well so far.
Ooh. Did he get it?
Paul
Yep.
Wainer.
So, we're off to a flying start. Barry Bonds covering that out. But you look at the age of Bonds, he's rated as a 4 in left field. And, earlier in his career, when he was
9 or 10, easy.
Yeah, svelter. He never had a good arm. That 5 might be generous for his arm. But he could, right? Sid Bream, still safe. So, but here's Big Poison. And he had a little brother nicknamed Little Poison, of course, right?
First baseman.
Some of my favorite parts of this game is just the obscure baseball facts that you kind of dig up as you go.
Oh yeah,
that's fun.
And I've learned a lot about him. Oh, here's something else that you can tweak. You can hold the runner or not hold the runner, right? So usually, if they're a base stealing threat, or if you're trying to keep them close for a potential double play, it defaults to just hold the runner, but you can turn that
man.
on and off.
I don't know. What do you think?
I'm not sending Paul Wainer at 59%. Come on now. Gotta let Ralph Kiner hit.
Do you?
Look what it did. All right. Maybe you're right.
Trust my aggressive instincts.
Right? Okay. So
I think they over 40%.
Look at Jeff Kent.
Did he? Oh,
double off the wall.
Mel.
And Barry Bonds was still mad about it, right? Kent. Here's Mel Ott, who's a fantastic player and a really bad third baseman as far as this game goes. But
did he get it?
No, it looks like
shortstop.
I think he
Travis
flew
Jackson.
out and Clemente. What happened there? He got 2 guys.
No, they scored. No.
Oh, did they score?
Yeah.
Okay, on the pass ball at third or the bad throw. Sorry, Clemente. It feels wrong to speak poorly of baseball royalty, but bad throw from Clemente. There's an E8, and they're in. So he caught it and then made a bad throw to third on whomever, Kent, tagging up, and he scored on it. All right.
All right, 1 out.
Took us 2 innings to confuse me on a play, but
Catcher, number 28.
and that's another thing to watch is pitchers will vary from game to game, just like real pitchers do, right? And in the box score at the end of the game, they can have nothing after their name, or a plus sign, or 2 plus signs, or a minus sign, and 2 minus signs. So it'll actually tell you how their stuff was for the game. You know, were they feeling the curveball? Could they not harness the fastball? That's, you know, real baseball, and it's something they incorporate here. So I like that a guy can vary from start to start, and that sometimes you run into a fifth starter who's just on a roll, and he'll shut down a great offense. You'll see it happen from time to time in real ball, and you see it happen here too.
Pitcher,
About
All
time.
right. Got another comment for you.
Yeah, it's not little poison. That I don't think he even made the inactive squad, right? So tragic little brother syndrome. But we didn't. Yeah, we didn't have a little poison appearance. Just big poison. That's enough poison for one team, I think. So here we get our fine National League Baseball with the pitcher hitting. So it's the time when you cannot hold the runner.
Dude, he's killing it. 2 for 3 on the season.
Yeah, right. He's gonna make me eat my words, I'm sure, but nope. Nice and easy.
center fielder, Roberto Clemente.
All right, so
All right, here we go. Big inning.
I'm digging this out here. Look at Willie in center. 10
Wow.
rating, 10 arm. Like, just don't
Awesome.
bother. Don't bother
Awesome.
hitting it. Don't hit it at Willie. There we go.
Shortstop, Honus Wagner.
You know that they say it on the air all the time. Boy, it happens so often. The guy makes a great defensive play, and then the next inning he comes up. He always gets a hit. And we just saw the reverse with Clemente. He made a bad throw and came up and struck out. So there's also a bunt rating. You can barely see it by Wagner here, but he's got a 10 out of 10
Ooh.
for bunting.
What do
So
you think? Should we put
I
some
don't-
pressure on the defense?
I mean, we can try it if you want. You can bunt
he's
for a hit. He's hitting 409 though. I mean,
Yeah, let him hit.
all right. Again, he tried to hit it over Willie Mays' head. That's
Yeah.
rescue. This guy's looking a little creepy in the photo down here. Pie trainer. Happy to see us, I guess.
So, I wonder what his real name was.
Probably Pie, right? Or Pius, or
A different era.
Pierre, maybe. Look that one up. All right, so Willie Mays is scuffling on the year so far. I'm sure that'll haunt me, but and we always chose an image of the current Major League Park. Just feeling like as much nostalgia as we have for old stadiums, the modern parks are likely the best fields anybody here has ever played on. So Bill Terry. And Willie McCovey, who's red hot.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Catcher, Jason Kendall.
Jason Kendall.
Killing it right now.
Look at Marchal get over there.
Second baseman, Bill Mazeroski.
Mazeroski's on
Let's see the
fire.
fundamentals.
For a guy who is really known as not all glove, but known for his glove, he's had a hell of a opening week.
I think you're looking at the All-Star, right?
Could be.
Starter.
And that's another thing too. We will have an all-star game in the middle. That'll be fun to have. Here's the pitcher. I'll bunt for you now if you want, Brent.
What's his rating?
0.
Maybe let it rip.
Wait away.
We don't want him to break his finger.
Hey, look at that. So yeah, McCutcheon can't bunt. We're not at 15%.
Let's hit and run. Oh no, 2 outs. All right. Yeah. Let him
Yeah.
hit. All right.
You could have talked me into hit and run, but so far, not a whole lot going on. So here's Barry Lamar. And that's it looked like an error coming, but Mazeroski
Past Mazeroski.
doing well.
I can't remember, man. Did Vance like make the bench?
I think you did.
Yeah.
For Pittsburgh, but I mean, these teams are so deep, right? You're looking here at the greatest Pirates of all time. At least their lineup against right-handers, and dig it, no Willie Stargell, right? Like Stargell can't bump Wayner or Kiner for a starting spot. So, and this is another thing too. You can bring them down and see who else we've got here from a batting perspective. So,
did he make the inactives? Oh, okay.
He must be inactive. And this guy, Archie Vaughn, knows somebody. He keeps sneaking up onto the roster. He's supposed to be inactive. And every time I move him down, he ends up back up for usually a pitcher. So
Tiny, one of the programmers. Must be a great grandson.
But yeah, we've got Dave Parker and Willie Stargell on the bench. That's all right. And then San Fran's crazy deep too, just because they've got all these years to pull from. So Will Clark and Kevin Mitchell, the Pacific Stock Exchange, Orlando Cepeda just sitting on the bench. You know?
There had to have been was there actually one of those posters of the?
Oh yeah, one of those Costas Brothers posters.
That's awesome.
Yep, absolutely. I never read anything about it, but I gotta imagine Mitchell and Clark weren't best of friends, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Will seems like kind of a gregarious guy.
I think Will's rep was as a guy who took it all really seriously all the time.
Yeah,
so
maybe not. Just a disregard what I said.
Mitchell was known as a bit of a tough guy. So caught balls barehanded in left field, right?
That was amazing.
It's a great catch. Well, it's hard to call it a great catch, right? Because you had to totally overrun the ball to even try it, but
it was a good recovery.
Yeah, it really was. I remember seeing that and going, I can't even fathom someone trying that.
But that was
less pulling it off.
That was on Sports Center for like a week straight.
Yeah, and like nobody's ever done that. Like no one even tries it because they think they'd look stupid. So Mitchell's just like, yeah, no big deal. I got it.
They'll do a Canseco, right, and have it go off.
Right. Live forever. And big poison. Let's see.
We're having a tough start here.
Yeah, we're
there we go.
Turning it around.
30%. Can we hit and run here?
You can hit and run. I'll hit and run if you want. Or run and hit.
Let's put some pressure on the defense.
All right, so hit and run. And yeah. Well, consider the defense pressured.
Clemente's having the worst game of his entire eternal life. So
it doesn't. Sometimes they'll say poor play. It's not an error, but it's just one that could have been handled better. And I think they actually keep track of them in the box scores. It'll be like, poor play, A-Rod, number 5 on the year. So
just some guy not paying attention.
It'll track that stuff. So 2 outs are probably just letting Wagner hit, I think.
But yeah, go for it.
All right. Not quite there.
Surprised Clemente wasn't a little better base stealer. That's something I sort of just.
You would have thought for a guy who had that much range in the outfield, right? But his speed doesn't always equal base stealing ability. Not always, anyway. Good to see Buster Posey back from his COVID season off. Oh,
yeah. What happened? Was his wife pregnant? Was that?
I think so. Yeah, I think there was a.
That's pretty good reason.
I was about to call a pregnancy a complication. That wasn't really a complication, but yeah, Posey's back. He'll high five Ian Desmond on the way in, right? Like, see you, brother.
Did Desmond opt out?
He opted out today, for the whole year.
Oh, today he did? For this?
Today, for this upcoming season. Like,
so he might be done, huh? Is that a retirement?
Well, I don't know about retirement, but it's his. I think it's his last year under contract in Colorado, so he'll be a free agent, and maybe he just saw a long year coming. Right, Colorado's. Yeah, I mean, they didn't. I think they're one of the only teams that spent no money in the offseason. Nothing. Okay. I mean, the only money they spent was the money they sent along with Arenado to St. Louis. So, talk about a rough offseason.
Love to see that as a fan.
So we got Marichal up hitting 500, Posey on first in a 1-run game. We can move the defense around, so we can bring the guys in if we want, or in at third, or halfway.
Guy's on a roll, man. I don't know.
You figure he's just going to hit anyway?
Let's go for the double. Can we do double play depth?
I think that's what they call halfway. So we can go halfway.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's see. Well, we got the out. Now
frozen. He had a frozen rope. Oh no, yeah. Wow,
yeah. Man. Juan Marichal's really feeling it right now.
All right, this is our ending.
Back to Pie Trainer, whose eyes are haunting me as we speak. But
I have to find a new image, huh?
Or not, right? That might be the best. So again, don't hit it at Mays. There's Jason Kendall. I'm looking at this with Bonds a 4 in left and McCovey a 4 in right. It's probably a good thing they got Willie Mays at 10 in center, right?
That's like Fabulous Bears.
Yeah, right? If it's hit over the grass, that's yours, Willie. Just
you catch everything.
He probably doesn't ever have to call anybody off, I'm thinking. Well, I guess maybe he ranges way in front of both of them and has to let them know, I'm going to catch this anyway. You're good.
Let's see. So we got, 2 out.
2 down, Mazeroski and Adams at the Adams 1 for 1.
Well, I don't know, man. You choose.
I mean, Adams can't even bunt, so it kind of writes itself. I don't want to get Mazeroski thrown out on the bases and have Adams lead off the next inning. That's not going to do us any good. So,
good point.
And the number above the pitcher, you can barely see it here. That's her pitch count on the day. So 61 for Babe. And all these guys that pitched in the 40s and below, they'll throw 120, no sweat. Like, no big deal. We're all good. There's that guy, John Carlson, I think, Clarkson in Atlanta, who pitched in like the 1890s and was ridiculous. And the first season we simmed, I didn't know as much as I do now about making tweaks. He pitched like every second or third day. Like he had 51 starts on the year, led the league with like 420 innings pitched. Like he just wouldn't let anybody else on his mound. So we had to temper his aggressiveness and, introduce him to Maddox and Smoltz and Spawn and, the other guys who, were totally, credible and willing and deserving of some starts as well. So we're seeing some hits, but no fireworks really yet.
Oh, hit and run.
Don't think it has a distance. Made it all the way. Frequently, when they show you a foul, and I'm not sure why they show you a foul ball when every pitch is supposed to be the last one of the at bat, but it is frequently followed by a strikeout. So
let's see.
Nope. Kendall getting it done on the bases though. He might still strike out. Nope. Well, again.
There, Kendall.
McCovey's hit it the wrong direction. Barry Lamar. See, there you go.
Wow.
Babe Adams getting it done. So we are through 5. San Francisco leading 1-0.
So one unearned run.
Yeah. It's been a real barn burner here in Pittsburgh.
All right, all right. Here we go.
So here's when it's a decision to be made, they'll give it to you, and we're acting as Jim Leland. So,
man,
do we try for?
It's Barry Bonds, so
right.
I gotta say, go send him.
But I think Bonds is he's got a 5 arm, so it's not as bad as it's not rated in the game as bad as we might think it should be. But I think he's, we got 6 hits on the night, but leadoff guy gets on who can probably steal us a base. I'm not sure we're sending him to second at a 49% success rate, right?
All right, Webb.
Yeah.
Just the voice of reason, I guess.
Yeah. Voice of reason's a lonely job, but I've been doing it a long time. So no, we're not
double play.
We're not sending McCutcheon. Wow, he doesn't steal nearly as well as I thought he would.
Those are his prime years too. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So Wayner's a great bunter, So if we were going to bunt, even with our number 2 guy, I mean, he's hitting 409, but
Yeah, I'd say yes, but I'll leave it up to you.
no. I got the last one. So there's 2 options: bunt for a sacrifice, where you're obviously giving yourself up, or you can try for a hit, and you're both less likely to advance the runner, but more likely to be safe.
So they pulled their infield in, though, huh? The corners are in.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I'd say let it rip. Maybe. Do you want to do a hit and run? Just straight up hit and run. Let's
works
do
for
it.
me.
Let's put some pressure on him.
It's a tease. So it's still on. Come on now.
So is that a? Oh man.
So he swung and missed. Oh, it was a pitch out.
Oh,
They
okay.
pitched out and nailed McCutcheon. So and then they hit Wainer to show him how much they didn't care for that. Oh, and listen.
Hey, we just got to out strategize.
There's one bit where the crowd is really mad. The guy yells, "No way!" like 3 times. So we'll see. Okay. So the percentages actually change when they throw over. Usually down, sometimes up. So I'm not sure why they think Paul Wainer is going to run at 26%, but they just hit him. So maybe they don't like him. He is big poison after all.
All right, I'll leave it up to you, man. If you want to get creative. Well, good thing we didn't. Is that a line
every time we get creative, it bites us. So
frozen rope, though.
I hit it hard.
All right, let's see. Well, Clemente.
They keep thinking Wayner's stealing, but I don't think we're gonna send him.
Nice. All right, here we go. Ooh.
I forget who hits behind Clemente, but it's got to be the 4 or the 5 guy, right? So
yeah, no, I mean he'll get in with a hit anyway. So
yeah, I'm not sending him. Not at 6.
Barry Bonds. Tempting.
Yeah,
so tempting.
But you think about it, on a base hit to left.
Yeah,
right? If that was a single to right. Yeah, you probably send him.
It's bad baseball. I know.
All right, so no, we're not sending Wainer to 3rd. For you, Honus Wagner.
Double steal.
It's about time, right? All right, Wagner, let's see something. Hits it to Willie. Yeah. All right, well, we're back to it.
Oh, Jeff Kent's having a down year, huh?
Early on, yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
To the warning track. All right, fine. And Mel Ott. Oh, we'll get a web gem. They track those too, so that's, a sensational play, a leaping catch by Wagner and Travis Jackson. All right.
It's a quick one. I like it.
Look, we even get a little 7-inning stretch.
I think we got another comment.
Yeah. I don't remember who he played for. There's a famous commenter on tons of boards who goes by Old Hoss Radborn. Great nickname. But I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame, and he didn't make anybody's roster. So wherever Old Hoss is, give him a shout out. All right, so Demonized Pie Trainer is back up.
Oh, that sounded good.
You see how far Willie ran over the left to make it?
This is the bad news bears, man.
Right. Instead of center fielder yelling, I got it. Bonds was just saying, that's all you.
You could just see Bonds sort of just not move and just tracking it with his eyes.
Yeah. He knew if it wasn't gone, he would tear every leg muscle he had trying to go for that. So, Willie, it's Godfather. Go get it. And of course he does. We're getting late enough to start thinking about pinch hitters at some point. So Marichal is a righty. So we can go into our lineup here, look at splits. So OPS against right-handed hitting. Wow, Stargell's a beast. And so is Josh Bell.
Let's do it.
So we could use either one of those guys now, and then our backup catcher is Manny Sanguian.
Oh, yeah. Love that. I remember Sanguian from all the old Topps cards. Yeah, let's get him in the game.
All right, so we're going with our best shot, right, Willie?
Yeah, for sure.
So Willie's going to hit. And then where we are in the lineup, we got Mazeroski and then Adams. So we're going to pinch hit for Adams probably before his next at bat, right?
Mm-hmm.
As late as we are in the game. So it might serve us to get somebody up in the pen at the same time in case this inning gets extended.
Go with it. Yeah. I'm glad
So
you remember that.
We'll do Stargell for Kendall. Yep. And they'll announce him too. It's kind of cool.
Pinch hitting for Pittsburgh, Willie Stargell.
It just sounds cool. And then up to the bullpen. And, oh, wait a minute. If we check the San Fran roster, next up for them is Posey, Marichal, Mays, and then a whole bunch of lefties. So we want somebody who's good against righties to start with and then lefties to follow. So in the Pittsburgh bullpen, I'm always looking at batting average versus right-handers. And the best is Felipe Vasquez or he who shall not be named. But we're not going to bring our closer in here in the 7th. But Mark Melanson here looks like a pretty good option at 221 versus righties.
Sounds great.
So we'll get him warming up. Former U of A Wildcat, which is a shame, but all right. So let's see how Pops does here against Juan Marichal with 1 down. Look, like couldn't have written it better.
Oh, I love this guy.
And I know you want to send him at 10%, but we're.
All right, who's up? Oh,
Mazeroski.
Bill's going to come through. We're tying this game right now.
So
come on, Bill.
Right. And it didn't happen. But it's a good thing that we got the reliever ready because there's no way Babe Adams is going to hit.
No way.
So
All right, who do we have on the bench?
It was Josh Bell.
Let's do it.
So we're going to get all of our first basemen into the game one way or the other. So new National, but former Pirate, Josh Bell.
Pinch hitting for Pittsburgh, number 55, Josh.
Come on, Josh.
Oh, they walked him. They walked him. They wanted no part of Josh Bell. So we get McCutcheon.
Double steal.
Yeah, right.
Oh, get there. What happened? Did you tag him?
Yeah, just force out at second. All right. Well, I think we played that about as well as you can. Pirate fans, let us know if you're disappointed in our in-game strategy. So we'll get Melanson into the game for Bell because he hit last. Or wait a minute. Stargell pinch hit for the catcher, so we need Sanguian in here somewhere.
So you want Sanguian before?
Right.
Bell.
So the pitcher will go for Bell.
Pitching for Pittsburgh, Mark Melanson.
Close enough. And then in here we'll grab Manny being Manny for Stargell and play him at catcher. Okay, there we go. And then we've only got two bats we haven't used, Dave Parker and Archie Vaughn, who snuck on the school bus to get to the game. So, all right, Melanson. Oh, and then we want to get somebody who's especially good on lefties.
You know Archie's going to come through for us.
Yeah, right? He'll be the hero. You know what? Melanson's not terrible. He might be able to handle lefties as well. So we'll leave him be for now. All right, fine. Infield single. Look at Posey to steal. 7%. We'll hold him out of respect. Now, Marichel's supposed to bat. And if they're going to pinch hit for him, it won't happen until we click pitch.
Okay.
So we click pitch and go, yep, we're going to throw. And then they'll bring in a pinch hitter if they want to.
Pinch hitting
there
for
you
San
go.
Francisco.
Oh, Will Clark.
So
gregarious Will Clark.
Right. All right, let's see what Will can do. Will throw. Nope. But we got Marichal out of the game. So maybe that'll help.
Uh-oh.
So
here comes Willie.
I can't believe that it must have been a busted hit and run.
So wow.
Because there's no way you're sending Posey.
We lucked out there.
Yeah, finally. The odds are ever in our favor.
Seguin.
Right off the bench to gun out Buster Posey.
Without even warming up.
San
This
Francisco,
guy.
Gary Lavelle.
Gary Lavelle. I didn't know much about him, but a friend of mine, Gary, said, "Don't forget Lavelle," and he was an amazing reliever in the
What era?
late 70s, early 80s. And I wasn't paying attention really to baseball until about 86. But collecting cards, you get to know the guys from a couple of years before. But I didn't go far enough back to remember Gary Lavelle. But his numbers are really impressive. He did a good job for the Giants. So here we are in the bottom of the 8th with a lefty on the mound. Let's see if we got any lefty magicians on the bench. Not really. We got Parker, who I guess we could use him to hit for Trainer. We could probably monkey it around to find another outfielder, but there's not
Parker
a big
hit
difference.
Lefties pretty well, huh?
Yeah, I mean, 887 for an OPS, so not bad. Not as well as he hit righties, but
Let's save Dave for the 9th.
for the 9th inning magic. And Arky doesn't get to play at all.
Oh, Arky's going to come through for us. I have a feeling.
Right, and then I'm going to send him down again. It's sort of the dance we do. So, all right, let's see what Poison's up to. He gets it started.
Oh.
And now Kiner.
All right, let's see something.
No.
Oh.
So apparently he tried to advance to third on the grounder to short.
He got tagged.
Not a good move. This late in a 1-run game. But you know how they say never make the first or the last out of an inning at third? Don't make it between second and third either, right? Like
bad base running.
Bad baseball.
I appreciate it, but it's
Yeah.
terrible base running.
So we got Kiner on first, Clemente up. We're not going to steal with Kiner. We could hit and run if you want. It has not served us well, and Posey's got a good arm.
No, I think you just
let it roll.
See what Clemente can do.
All right, progress.
All right,
Honus Wagner.
Yeah.
Never had his baseball card.
Well, at least he didn't hit into a double play. Who do we have? Pie. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you thinking?
I was just remembering Parker's slightly better against lefties than he is, but
Your
we
call.
are gonna get another crack in the 9th. So
His name is Pie. So
all right, fine. Let's see if we can get some dessert. Look at that. Send him. We're tied up.
do you make it? Yes.
Nice.
Sanguilin.
We get some.
Manu Sanguilin makes an appearance.
That's pretty close.
So yeah, off the bench to gun out Posey at second. Now he can put him ahead.
I love it.
So
this game is writing itself here.
who knew? We got a barn burner. Oh boy.
All right, now we need to pinch hit Archivon.
Now just a sec here. I want to look at it. Because if it comes to it, if we take the lead, they're going to have 3 lefties in a row coming up. So right now is a really good time for us to get our pen going again and get Vasquez warmed up.
Perfect. Okay.
Just in case we take the lead. All right. So Mazeroski for the win. It doesn't have the distance. So we're tied up. All right. So tie game, Melance's only thrown 8 pitches. I don't think we're not going to our closer in a tie game, are we?
I don't
He
think
is
so.
better against lefties.
I think you roll with him unless you got a feeling otherwise.
I think maybe we'll see if we get in trouble. How's that? So we'll let him start with Bill Terry. Okay. So better pitcher in the pen, tie game, 9th, runner on.
I defer to your instincts here.
I think I don't want to worry after the game why I didn't go to my closer. So I don't know if that's aggressive or defensive, but either way.
Pitching for Pittsburgh, number 73, Felipe Vasquez.
And he's lefty too, so he should, harder to steal on. So he hits McCovey. For all you people who thought Felipe Vasquez was a really good guy, maybe not. And now Barry Bonds, no pressure, kid. All right, he gets one, and now Kent.
All right.
So here's the question. Let's see if we go to San Fran. Batters, left, right. Okay, so we're sorting by their OPS. So we have Kent up now, who's a 960 OPS. But we have Ott up next, right? Is that right? Yeah, because it's just Bonds. Kent up 960. Ott next, who's a 915.
So who are you going to go to?
Well, I figure either way, we got to get an out here, right? And the runners on second and third don't really matter. Well, I'm trying to think, do you walk Kent to pitch to Ott? With one down, probably not. So I talked myself into it and out of it. So let's go. So the third baseman has it. He can throw home, got a 20% chance, but it is the go-ahead run.
I think you got to try it.
The only time I wouldn't do it is if I thought we could get a double play out of it. But
it's only 2%, right?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. It's right there. So, yeah, there's no way we're getting the double play. So you got to throw home, I think.
I agree. Let's do it.
Well, they were both bad choices. So here's Melott, who rips us too. Man, the wheels are falling off in Pittsburgh. But we'll get them in the bottom of the ninth, right? So do you walk Jackson here to set up the double play and pitch to Posey? With one out?
Decision. Yeah, what do you think? Maybe? I guess you could get a force out. Yeah, let's do it. We could get
have a couple options. You don't have to put him on. There's also pitch around, which means give him nothing to hit. And maybe he swings at something bad, and you're like, I think 3 times as likely to walk him. But it's a good middle ground. And it still didn't matter. So my whole let's go with Vasquez thing.
Pittsburgh's going to miss the playoffs by 1 game.
Right? And the only guy happy about it is Melanson in the dugout going, see, Sun Devil?
Man, the wheels just fell off.
Like, I even thought that one got past Maz.
Gary, Lavelle.
Now, they can't let Lavelle bat.
Hitting for San Francisco.
There we go.
Number 30, Orlando, Cepeda.
We just need tiny graphics of the fans leaving.
Right. Yep. Just get out quick, beat the traffic. All right.
Cepeda. Nice.
Orlando Cepeda.
Oh, here we go.
Double play.
All right.
So mercifully,
we're
out of the ninth.
All right. We just need to load the bases, bring up Archie, and we'll call it an evening.
Felipe Vasquez.
Oh, okay. Well, Vasquez is batting. We're not going to let that happen. We'll just warm up Drabeck. It's fine. He's got plenty of time. It takes longer to warm up a guy who's used to starting. So, but that's fine. Drabeck's probably never getting in this game anyway. And now, wait a minute. So it's Ames, Red Ames, a right-hander.
All right, Dave Parker time.
Got to find him a new hat. That's not very giant, but anyway.
Dave Parker, right? Dave Parker.
So yeah, we got to go to the roster, and now we're looking at a right-handed OPS. Excuse me, still Dave Parker. So Parker, let's see some magic.
I had a lot of Dave Parker cards over the years. Excited to get him in the game.
He was a really good player.
He was.
And look at that. Starts the rally.
Okay.
So, I mean, down 4, We just got to hit it. Unless you want to hit and run.
Nah, let's just see what they got.
Run, touch. So here we go. Our last dose of poison for the night.
Archivon is poking you. It's like, hey, Skip.
I'll look, but
no,
Waiter's hitting 435. I think.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just checking it out. He's at the top. Look at this. Yeah.
You could I sort of picture Archie's voices. Hey, Skip.
Right. And mercifully.
Oh, well, we're sorry, Pirates fans.
We'll keep track of this. We're 0-1. So here's the recap.
San Francisco 5, Pittsburgh 1.
Melanson got the loss.
Picked up the win. He is now 1-0. Mark Melanson picks up the loss. He is now 0-1 on the season. 3 hours, 2 minutes.
And all Melanson did was let one runner on, and we're like, okay, you're out. Brought in the closer, who wet the bed, and who gets the loss, right? You tell me who pitched poorly. So this is the stuff thing that I was telling you about. So nobody had their numbers altered by the computer for this game. Nobody was better than their stuff or worse than their regular numbers. It was just business as usual for all of them. But today it was well, actually give a player of the game, I think, down there somewhere. But I think Juan Marichal was pretty impressive with 7 shutout innings, scattering 8 hits. MVP, there you go. Juan Marichal.
Manny Sanguillen.
So there you go. That's what the game looks like. And, I play a game here and there and watch some game sim as well. But it's a pretty compelling sim, even visually, because, even though the graphics aren't amazing, you're still rooting for that ball to get through or to drop, or wondering when it turns red if the guy's going to hang on and snow cone it, or if it's going to be an error. So it's compelling. I really dig it, and I think I hope fans have a little better feeling for what the sim actually looks like, because really all they've gotten to this point is scoreboards and box scores. So that's a night in the life of Eternal Baseball. So we don't want to wander too long. If you joined us, we really appreciate it. Let your fans, let your friends know. You can find us at www.eternalbaseball.com. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We love fan feedback. We have team-specific forums on our website. So let us know what you like, what you don't like. If we've missed a player, things you'd like to see. In no way do we believe that, we master planned this and everything is accounted for. Everything can change, and a lot of things will. But we really think the work we put into building these rosters and the really excellent sim, again, action with an exclamation point, PC Baseball from DK Sports, you can find it at dksports.com, is tremendous. And we think the whole season is going to be a whole lot of fun. And we're just excited to see where it takes us.
Yeah, please hit us up. Let us know what you think. We're very open to feedback.
So we'll be back next week. I think we're going to try to make Game of the Week a Saturday night tradition. So we'll see where we end up next week. Again, watch our Twitter feed, our Facebook feed, and again at eternalbaseball.com. We always keep the fans informed. So again, I'm Mark, he's Brent, and thanks for joining us for the debut podcast at Eternal Baseball.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Good night.